another rousing episode of your Geek Show. We're all here and wide awake and excited to talk to our guest geek today.
Rousing, you say?
Rousing, yes. Woo. Yes. I'm Miss Shannon here with Jayden Satia, who seems very excited. That's excited for you, Jayden. That's
I'm very excited right
Yes. Mr. Rob Callahan is here as well.
Hello.
And Nick Hotep, our social media demon, has joined us this morning.
Meow.
Oh, God, we're purring first thing. And we are also joined by our guest geek and political guru, one of the smartest men I know, Robert Burrell. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you. I'm not that smart. I
right.
read, but yeah.
Yeah, 3 hearts broke in this room.
Right.
Now.
Yeah,
And
seriously,
you know a 2,500-year-old demon.
You're adorable.
And I'm a misunderstood genius with a heart of gold.
Okay, so I brought Robert's one of the first guests that we've had back on your Geek Show so far. And
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
you
why
were
you
our
got a
first.
sandwich.
Oh, I'm honored.
Yes.
I did get a sandwich.
You got a
I
sandwich.
appreciate that.
So we have to bring you back for a couple of reasons. Like one, we were just learning how to have guests. When
Okay,
we came on.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I still thought it was a great episode.
Yeah. 2, I was incredibly hungover that morning, I'll be honest with you. I don't feel
fair.
like it was my best work. I feel like I listened back to it, was disappointed, felt like I was a really bad host to you.
Do-over day.
And that was before Nick Hotep was allowed to come to the show, and he's been whining since then because he really likes you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why wasn't he allowed to come to that show?
Because he was on punishment. But now he's allowed out of
He's
the
a
house.
demon.
I know. He's almost
Why would
always
you-
on...
The cat had to go to therapy that
Oh,
day.
okay.
Yeah, he was
Gotcha.
really, So, and last time you came, I promised that we were going to have mimosas, and then because I was hungover, forgot that I promised that. So what I brought this morning, my little sister, the one that lives in Seoul, she brought back this Korean alcohol, and it's actually not that bad as far as the proof goes. I thought it was going to be worse, but she said it was called Uju. And so we are going to have that this morning on
Got to
behalf
take
of our
something off
yes,
the edge of
exactly.
being in that demilitarized zone.
Yeah, so we are going to share this. And Jayden, if you don't want to drink it, you can just smell it. I don't care. That's
I'll take a sip out of it.
fine. You can have a splash.
And they call me a temptress.
Do they
Nobody calls you a
You'll have this.
I couldn't possibly have any alcohol. That's no.
I thought it was going to be a sip. This is like 4 shots.
Well, I poured that specially for you, Rob.
So
Smells
is
good.
this
Yeah.
beer? What is this?
No, it's
It's a peach
fruit.
wine, isn't it?
yes. You know, we'll give the 2 Roberts get the most of it.
So this is how we're starting the show?
This is how we're starting the show.
Mazel
Just
tov.
everybody-
Mazel
Oh,
tov.
this is nice.
There we go.
I
Cheers.
can.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Yay.
These were glasses.
Welcome
We'll hit
back,
our plate.
Mr. Burrill.
Glad to be back. I like the way this keeps escalating every time I come back.
That's actually not too bad.
And
Yeah.
Just wait till the next time.
Yeah, exactly. We have this Puerto Rican lotion. Oh, all right. That's okay. Sure.
We've been
back
shopping.
rub.
We found
Third
you
time's
something.
a back rub. Okay.
Why are there no mics in the room, Nick? Well, there's a reason for that.
There's a camcorder.
Massage table? What?
Like, why? That's for your safety, Robert. Right? And you are the person that keeps me honest as far as what the politics in the world is going on. Because whenever I need,
Yep.
you like the new walk-up, I got
That's
you
what
updated walk-up.
I think Obama should come out to this for this last State of the Union.
Oh,
Why
wouldn't
not?
that
It's
be
your
us?
last
Why not?
one. Absolutely. Yeah. Who cares?
Because there's so much going on in politics right now that
He dunks. There's a hoop. And he dunks. Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. He's got like John Boehner sitting underneath, just dunks over him.
I think he would have to do something pretty incredible because the last one I thought was about as good a State of the Union as I've ever seen him do. Specifically when he made the remark about how there are no more elections to win, and
Yeah.
people
Oh.
cheered, and he just shut them down. It's like, yeah, I know, I already won them both. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's so funny how like his State of the Union's almost turned into just like Def Jam. Like he's got Republican congressmen like shouting at him like, really, we can't get some crowd control in Congress
The
right
POTUS
now.
has to deal with hecklers.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
ridiculous.
And he's like, that's all right. I'm fueled by your disrespect. I like the way
Yeah.
he like.
Just wait 2 years. Donald Trump will be up there, and we'll hear him give the State of the Union.
And this is the thing. So whenever I am concerned,
You're fired.
I just want to see that.
And you might see.
Vice President will be Ric Flair. Like, why? That doesn't even make sense. All right, sure.
I am very concerned with the popularity of Donald Trump because when I first saw him, I'm like, okay, it's just a Kardashian style stunt. He's not really concerned about winning. He's not going to try. And now he's been it. And I actually text Robert. I was so freaked out. I was like, Robert, please tell me that this is just a stunt. What the heck are these people doing? And he's like, relax, Shannon. It's all fine. It's a long way off. And tried to talk me down off the ledge. And then I saw the footage from his press conference, or not his
rally.
His rally in Alabama.
Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yes,
I think it was yesterday.
And it was, so thousands and thousands of people came out to see him in Alabama. And just loved this dude, and it just looked such like this hive mind. We will follow you anywhere mentality.
He's a novelty. It's still months and months away from the first primary, the first caucus, and it's all about being on television. He's a reality TV star. Of course, he's going to excel in today's media age.
But why should I trust in the people that are voting now that they're not going to fall for that? We are in a society that is fueled by shows like Dancing with the Stars, where you get to vote. They're fueled by American Idol, where you get to vote. They're fueled by The Voice. So people are like, they throw their vote on any silly thing, and they're accustomed to going, I will vote for you because you seem like the most interesting person, not the best, most qualified, anything like that anymore.
A Trump Winfrey ticket?
I think it says something about Trump, or maybe his handlers and his publicity people. It says something about the level of talent they've got, where they can take a wealthy New Yorker, bring him down to Alabama, and have everyone love him, because that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah,
the
well,
South
part
tends
of
to hate
it,
New England.
It doesn't hurt to have multiple $1 billion at your disposal to hire these people to manage you and market you.
And even when he does
you.
a poor job of following their advice, he still ends up looking golden lately. So,
but it's still there's only been one debate, and even that really wasn't like a debate. So
that was the Donald Trump
show. I mean,
show.
that's So I mean, as the campaign continues, and there's more debates, and there's actually primaries and caucuses where people are voting, and because there's 17 candidates right now on that side. Right. So once it gets down to like 3 or 4, it's going to be really fascinating to watch.
Is he gonna
whoever
be
the
one of the 3 or
establishment
4?
gets? He probably will be, but see who the establishment gets behind, whether it's Jeb Bush or if he continues to be just stale and bland. Scott Walker or Marco Rubio, and then to watch that battle between like the establishment Republican wing of the party versus this kind of like insurgent Trumpian nut job juggernaut that's
Robert
like
Burrell.
slowly building.
Robert
But
Burrell.
he's not going to win a general election.
Look in
he
my
will
eyes.
not win a
Look
general
in my
election.
eyes.
Yeah.
You're a handsome man. I want to believe you.
Okay. He's not going to win a general election.
Okay.
He's not.
Make me feel confident.
Bernie Sanders is getting 15,000 people coming to see him, and as much as I would love him to be president, it's not going to happen.
Okay. I'm going to back off the ledge for a while, and in a month, I'm sure I'll be back up on this ledge because somebody else, there'll be another rally, there'll be even more people at it.
Well, he's going to have rallies. I mean, that's just the nature of
so
politics
people,
anyway.
Okay, if Trump was around the corner, you knew he was going to come in a week, would you go watch him?
Heck yeah.
Right.
And that's a good point. That's a very good point.
And that's it. So how many
Yeah.
of those 15,000 people were actually just there to watch the show?
Yeah.
I should also point this out. Back in, I think it was like 98, 99, Skip Humphrey was running for governorship.
Right.
And he came out to St. Cloud when I was in school there and like did this big impassioned speech on the steps of the student union and had this huge crowd of people just chanting, Humphrey Mo, Humphrey Mo. They were holding signs and cheering and going completely nuts for him. And this was right around the time of the Highway 55 reroute, which I had been very active in trying to prevent. And he didn't mention it in his speech. And after the speech was done, because, you know, I was in my early 20s and you're invincible, he started to walk away from the mic, and I just got up to the mic and I started talking about Highway 55. and one of his goons came up from behind me and like picked me up by the shoulders and just moved me aside and then disconnected the mic and walked away. But the funny thing is like all of the press that was there and all of the crowd that were there didn't pay attention. Instead, they just started chanting louder, and then they all marched back to the tour buses. Everyone in that crowd was a paid or a volunteer member of the Humphrey Mo ticket. Okay. And there's probably a lot of that going on.
It's like seat fillers.
In Trump. You know, they've got plants. They've got a large number of plants to rile up everyone else.
And that I realize, I mean, because we've, been hired to sit there in seats before and different things as actors. But now we are to the point that when do you hit critical mass with that? Because I feel like there were so many people in the audience last night that some of those people must be drinking the Kool-Aid. They're not all hired
I'm
anymore.
sure some of them are.
It's not 200
people.
Some of them are, but like eventually he's going to have to come out with policies, with
Specifics?
substance.
Other
Yeah.
than we're going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. So
or
you're
we
saying-
don't win enough, and we need to win more.
What was this thing yesterday? The
Vote
biggest,
for Trump and we win. Like, they'll just have a big whiteboard that just says win and not win. And they'll point to not win. It's like, here's what we used to do.
Right.
And they'll point to win and say, this is what we need to do.
I like the hat, the Make America Great Again hat that
Yeah,
he's wearing everywhere.
it's so
It's
surreal.
so marketing.
I love it. I'm not
I hate
worried
the
by
hat
it.
because I like his hair.
I'm not concerned by it at all. Because
And-
he's not going to win a general election.
And this is the other reason why I'm concerned is I feel like as science fiction fans in this room, we are to the point now where a lot of things that we read about when we were younger have come to fruition. Like we look at Star Trek and there's so many things we're like, oh, look, we all have iPads. And I used to be all impressed that they would have this thing on the bridge. And so now what I feel like it is most akin to is if you've read A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a Douglas Adams book, and he talks about how the president is really just a distraction from the people and the things that are actually in power. So you find the person that is most distracting, most unqualified for the job, because that will be the focus of everybody's opinion now is focused on this guy who's doing all these ludicrous stuff. And that was what was the appeal of Zaphod in the book. He's just this ridiculous character, but everybody paid attention to him and nobody looked behind the curtain. And I mean, because even if we go, I watched the old series as well, but even if you go to the new one, did you guys see the new movie? The new Hitchhiker's
Sam
Guide movie?
Rockwell?
The Sam
Yeah.
Rockwell.
One? No,
who
I didn't.
Yeah, and I feel like he's very, especially in that one, if you look at the Sam Rockwell character, we could end up with a story that's very similar to the one that was in the movie.
The sensational theft of the most coveted ship in the universe, the Starship Heart of Gold. Stolen at the launch ceremony by none other than Galactic President Seyford Beeblebrox.
In the name of people and freedom and
Oh my.
democracy, stuff like that, I hereby kidnap myself, and I'm taking the ship with me. Woo! Come on!
Beeblebrox, universally considered to be the dimmest star in several solar systems, is most famous for his controversial defeat of Hummer Kabula.
And why is he
Who
Texan?
claimed many thought they were voting for the worst dressed sentient being in the universe contest. Hummer Kabula is of course best remembered for his slanderous Don't Vote for Stupid campaign.
Can we put your ego aside for a minute? Something important has happened.
If there's anything more important than my ego on this ship, I want to cut and shut right now.
He sounds exactly like Donald Trump. Like he says the same nonsensical catchphrases. And there's another character like Jeb Bush is just in the background going, really, this guy's stupid. You're not going to vote for him, right? And he still might win. I'm just so concerned, Robert.
He's not going to win.
Okay.
It's all a popularity
So then who
contest.
is going to win? Like,
He
you look at
doesn't
the other
have to-
side. We got Bernie Sanders, who's he's making waves, quote unquote.
He is.
But-
I'd like him to win. I don't think he will. But I would say probably either... and now there's actually talk of Joe Biden running just because
What about
there's
Al
some
Gore?
Democrats. And Al Gore, there's some murmurs just because they're kind of worried about
Hillary.
and all her baggage. But I still say that it's probably going to be Hillary. I mean...
You think this will just go away? The email stuff will eventually just...
I don't think most people care about the emails. Really, I feel like it's Hillary's enemies, Republicans, that are still continuing to keep this thing. I feel like most people are like, what? Okay, has she been charged with anything? No. All right. Did you find anything? No. Okay. Like, oh, yeah, she's kind of secretive, but she's also competent and smart.
She's more
and
competent
that's,
than a couple other people.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So I don't think that's good. That's
What did Bill Maher say about the email scandal? He was like, it would make Seinfeld jealous because it really is a show about nothing.
Yeah, that's the Republican scandals that they get. It's like Benghazi, which they investigate 47 times. It's
Right.
like the email thing. Like or Planned Parenthood. They manufacture these controversies, these issues, and then now it's all the talk about like defunding Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Like all the birth control stuff, you're going to create more abortions by doing it. There's no logical sense to the policy at all. It's all just straight up emotion. And I think most, at least independents, moderate people that they're going to have to appeal to in a general election are aware of that. And that's why I don't think they're going to win, because Donald Trump has wrapped himself in this ignorant, xenophobic nutbag cape of his,
Right.
of that party. And so if they're not going to attempt to make inroads with women or Hispanics, which they don't seem to be doing because Donald Trump is number one in the polls,
Right.
then
He's at 30%.
Yeah,
last
exactly.
poll.
Then
Okay.
they're not going to win a general election because they're just appealing to these xenophobic morons that they're going to have to need in a general election if they're not going to broaden their base to women or to Hispanics
So
more
what they're, it
independent-minded
sounds like what
people.
they're betting on is that there are more of these xenophobic morons willing to vote than there are.
But Mitt Romney proved that that's not the case. I mean, all the Republican number crunching was like, yeah, no, we have this in the bag. And no, Obama got 1 million more votes than Romney because they figured that, more white people would turn out. And there's not that many white people left that are still voting Republican. Mitt Romney got the largest share of the white vote than any other presidential candidate in history. And he still lost to Obama because demographics are shifting. And they refuse to acknowledge that. Instead, they're just doubling down on we lost our country. And
So
that's
we're just
not
going to
gonna
keep
work.
shouting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I am going to try and believe you because I like you. You're a good friend of mine. I want to believe you.
It's the nature of it. Like he and Bernie
You're
Sanders
talking
are both
math and
interesting.
logic.
They're
I do
talking-
not think that we live in a world of math and logic anymore.
But once you get down to like the final 2 or 3 candidates on the Republican side, because right now
is
Donald
about
Trump's
6 months
biggest
away.
appeal, is that he's a novelty.
Right.
So once he's on stage and everyone's like, okay, you're in the final 3, what are you actually saying if he's still going, win? We don't win. And then you have Marco Rubio, who's like, with a more detailed answer, like, well, sorry, Donald, we're going to go. And then Donald will be like, well, I got pretty close to being president, right? Like, here's my new show. Here's this.
Right.
Like, it doesn't.
Well, but then if you've got like Hillary going against Jeb, it's another battle of the dynasties, though, too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are turned off by that. I'm kind of like, I'm not that I'm looking forward to it, but like if it does happen, I'm still going to be just as interested. Because for me, that's almost like the Red Sox Yankees of people that don't give a shit about baseball. Like it's
Right.
still just like, okay, here are the Titans. Like there'll be blood on the floor with those two.
So about a year and a couple months away
Yeah.
from the general election.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, who are your 2 general election candidates from each?
Hillary Clinton and that's tricky. I'll say Marco Rubio. I just don't think Jeb Bush. He doesn't. And part of the problem is because he has Trump in that field, but he's been so flip-floppy on a lot of his answers, especially foreign policy stuff with Iraq, and there's no charisma there whatsoever.
Did you see the
And that
most-
might have meant more with his dad in like the early 90s. But now, in the age of like Kanye and YouTube, and you have to retain people's attention.
Have you
And
seen
so
the most recent Jeb Bush flub, though? Because this recently came out. Because he sent out a campaign piece in Iowa, I believe. And it's one of those flyers that went out to like tens of thousands of people. And wanted is like, vote for Jeb. And it clearly looks like a Photoshop fail because it's his face that's on this body. And then the right hand is clearly an African American. Like everything else looks like it could potentially be a white guy. That looks like it. And so that's what's gone viral on Twitter right now. It's all like, Photoshop fail? Are you trying to pander to the African American vote? Does that mean that so there's all these jokes that are going out there now because Jeb can't keep it together.
It's a shame that people are making fun of the fact that Jeb Bush actually has a black hand. I feel like it's been a struggle for him for a long time.
Actually, didn't they start World War One?
Who?
The Black Hand, didn't they
Oh
start
yeah,
World War One?
absolutely. It was so funny watching him in that first debate where he was like, "I'm my own man," because he was so close to saying like, "Read my lips."
Right.
I'm like, that would have been.
It's gonna
that
slip
would have
out.
been perfect. Yeah.
What about Ohio's Governor Janet
Oh, Kasich?
Kasich?
I like
Sorry.
everybody. Nobody knows how to pronounce his name except for Burrell, so everybody just goes, "Could you get
Yeah.
Just mumbles."
Yeah.
That guy.
I was impressed with him. I mean, he definitely seems a bit more moderate on social issues, which I don't know how that would go over in a nomination battle. Like for a general election, yeah, he seems pretty electable and moderate, and I think a lot of independents could get on board with him, but that's not the case right now. So we'll see. That first debate, I mean, he barely made it to the first debate, and that was in his home state. So, I mean, and there was a lot of shadiness, I feel, going on with how Fox News selected the candidates, because they just said an average of polls. They didn't say what polls.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they ever reveal what polls?
No.
And
they
it
didn't
seemed
say
like
what polls.
it kept changing. Like when you did hear bits and pieces of what polls they were using, it was like, well,
Yeah.
maybe it's this one. Well, maybe that one. it did seem
It was
a little...
just the break room at Fox News.
I remember.
Who do you guys want to talk to? Who's got a good question?
Well, what I was reading about was the closeness in polling. I think it was between Kasich and Rick Perry, because they were both around the margin for error, and so they went with Kasich because it's his home state, and Rick Perry because they probably still haven't forgiven him for how stupid he came off in that last debate. Then again, they might have just forgot Rick Perry. They were like, who do we have left? 3? Okay, Kasich, Chris Christie, and...
Oh, that lady.
Who was that other guy? Who was that third guy? If you're going to cut full departments of the U.S. government, you shouldn't be able to name the departments you would cut.
And then when he did come back and try and joke about it, it still fell flat. It's like, yeah, you're still dumb.
And that's one of the great things. That's one of the great things about Trump too, is that he doesn't have to play by any of the old political rules. So he called out Rick Perry for being stupid. He's like, Rick Perry should have to pass an IQ test to be in these debates, and he gave out Lindsey Graham's phone number. Like no one in their right mind does that kind of thing.
He just called out in the Alabama thing. He called out Jeb Bush like, I thought you liked immigration. Now you don't. You use anchor babies because I used it. And so he throws, he'll throw a rock at anybody. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't even know if Hillary's going to make it. He's
like the ultimate creation of Fox News turned against Fox News, because he's just a bombastic collection of sound bites that don't make any sense, but that appeals to people because that's what they've cultivated for so long. It's just like, he's loud.
Talk about sci-fi coming true. He is Fox News' Frankenstein.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a billionaire. Like he's not beholden to anybody.
No.
You can't silence him. So I think he will do tremendous damage to the Republican Party, but just the Republican Party, because I don't see him winning the nomination, and if he does, I don't see him winning a general election.
Right,
so we're not at idiocracy levels yet.
Although, no one really thought that we'd get a governor that was a wrestler.
Well, that's true, but that's a governor, so you only have to appeal to people in one state, and even Jesse Ventura seems like a Rhodes Scholar compared to Donald Trump.
I hate to be such a pessimist, but I really just could see a Trump Beeble-Brox ticket in 2016.
How many people will leave this country if Trump becomes president?
But that's the thing, because if Hillary gets the nomination, Hillary is... she's very co-opted, I think, by Wall Street, by big banks, Citigroup, that kind of stuff. So the establishment's going to have two chances to take out Trump. One is with whoever their candidate is, be it Jeb Bush, Scott Walker, or even Marco Rubio, just throwing their support behind him. And then with Hillary Clinton. Like, if it's Trump versus Clinton, Trump is a huge liability. Right. So, Fox News, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, I saw it was like a Real Clear Politics thing. It was like Fox News is actually one of Hillary Clinton's top 10 contributors. Maybe not them specifically, but like Murdoch.
Sure.
Okay.
Which makes sense because that's great business for them.
Right.
Like, it's much more entertaining to be on the offense going against Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama and she's not going to rein in the excesses of Wall Street or rein in corporations or anything like that.
She doesn't even know if she's rich. When they ask her, she's like, I'm not rich. I'm like, you don't know what words mean.
As opposed to, playing defense for George W. Bush during Iraq or whoever the Republican nominee would be and having to defend them. So I would think that even if he does get the nomination, then Hillary Clinton will.
Don't you want to see that happen, though? You want to see that happen.
See what happens.
To have Donald Trump.
I do not. I don't. It makes my stomach hurt thinking about it right now. I do not, because I don't trust people like you do. I feel maybe it's partially because I'm on the road so much as a comic. And I feel like anytime you get 45 minutes out of the city, you run into a pocket of those people that are like, I believe everything he said. That's right. He's going to shake everything up and he's going to battle for us and he cares about the people. I'm like, he does not. He just wants you to watch TV and obey and listen. Just like anything like in They Live. He's that guy telling
you
watch,
to keep your sunglasses
consume.
off.
Yeah, just pay it. Just produce, recreate, follow orders, do it, because I'm already rich and I want to stay rich. So
I still want to have him give the State of the Union, though.
Fine, just let him walk. He can just be, like when you have a designated hitter, he can be that.
Although, to be fair, during that debate, he gave some of the most truthful answers when it comes to, how corrupt the government is. And he's like, yeah, I donated to Hillary Clinton. I donated to Bill. He was president. You give money to politicians, they do favors for you. sorry, like that's just I've given money to guys on this stage right now, like that's
and will
how it works.
and will again, if I want
absolutely.
to.
But that's why people will vote for him. And that's the thing.
He's so honest. Look at him. He's gonna shake it up and.
He's either honest. He's either really honest or like so transparently lying that it is kind of refreshing. I feel like Trump isn't going to pull one over on you. It's either the straight truth or like, well, yeah, I used to be pro-choice, but then a friend didn't want to have a kid, and then they had a kid, and that kid was cool, so I'm pro-life now. Like, no, what?
It's kind of why you liked Jesse, because Jesse wasn't smart enough to lie.
Well, exactly. So, like, there isn't that kind of like smoothness to him that opponents of Obama have. Like, oh, he's pulling one over on us. Oh, he's like this smooth lie. Like, you can't say that about Trump at all.
Right.
Now, Robert, we have come full circle back to why I think he might end up actually being our president. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean he's novel, and that's why he's still at the top of the polls right now. But nothing has happened yet.
Well, I'll
There's
be
been
honest.
one Fox News debate.
At the start of this show, I thought he was a joke, but after hearing Burrell talk about him, I'm voting for this
See?
guy.
Yeah,
You know what? So politics, there's
he
so...
can't. I hope he gets the nomination. I hope, because he's not going to win a general election, and he's going to severely damage the Republican Party. They're going to have to do some serious soul searching.
I am concerned that every broy frat boy in the world will go out there and suddenly go, I need to know how to vote. Kind of thing.
This is funny. It's like every 4 years you think, okay, the Republican Party is finally they're gonna recover. They're gonna pick sensible candidates, and every 4 years they find someone to damage them even more.
Here's another clown.
This is what happens when it's like style over substance or no campaign finance reform. Like you get this xenophobic, sexist billionaire that says whatever he wants, and it's refreshing. It's refreshing.
That's
I
what's
like
the
it when
biggest
they
reality
speak their
show
mind.
ever made ever. Like if he ever,
Oh, yeah.
like for the world, like the
I
world
don't
will
even
be
think
watching.
he actually wants to be president. Like having to go in day. Can you imagine him in front of a angry White House press corps?
Yeah.
What he would call them? Would he just
Right.
knock the podium over and yeah.
You're fired. I don't work for you.
You can't fire. Yeah, you can't fire Canada, Donald Trump.
He would just kick everybody out. I don't think that he wanted to be president. He was just doing it as something interesting to shake people up. And now I think it's getting good.
And I don't think
because even like when Huffington Post was like, you know what, this is just entertainment. We're going to move all of the Donald Trump stories from the main news site. We're going to put it over on the entertainment section. And people were like, what? But now people are going, well, maybe that was short-sighted because now it does look like he's trying. He is, although they're flaky policies, he is saying, here's a policy. Here's what I think will happen. Here's what I want to do. Here's what it would be like. I could fly my own plane every place. I'd save you every money. It's like, oh, my God. And he looks like he's like, how can I make this nonsense seem real? So if we give him another, 9 months to actually sit there and figure out how to frame all of this into real stuff?
Because Ross Perot didn't do too badly when he tried to run.
Well, that's another thing, is if Trump runs as a third-party candidate, if he doesn't get the nomination. Because then all the damage is exclusively done to Republicans.
Right.
Like, he's not going to pull any Hillary Clinton voters or Bernie Sanders voters. It's all going to be voters.
Unless he gets Victoria Jackson as a running mate.
Oh,
my God, I was just wondering.
See, now Barilla's like, fair enough. I had to
Yeah,
cut that through.
that's true.
I
mean,
meant to
that's-
give you a little chuckle, and I've seriously scared you.
Well, no, I don't think. No, I'm just imagining what she would even be like on the campaign trail. I couldn't even process that.
I don't like anybody.
Yeah, she makes Sarah Palin seem like Madeleine Albright.
How do
Terrifying.
Okay, so we'll talk about something that's
Terrifying.
a little less scary. Okay, because
It's entertaining.
you see,
Do you want to make more money?
Wait, that's Sally Struthers.
She did a Sally Struthers impression though, way back then.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, when she was still telling funny jokes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When she was on SNL. Yeah.
all right, we'll talk about something that won't give us all nightmares. Okay, so you do have time to do other things that are more whimsical than just pay attention to politics, and so
I watch a lot of Holocaust documentaries. You're right. I didn't want to talk about it, but you brought it out of me.
you're like whimsy, wee, and confetti.
The Rape of Nanking, sure, put it on. Let's do it. Oh, and they're our allies now. Okay, yeah.
But I was like, okay, we got to talk about something else. And he's like, I want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like, yeah, we haven't done that yet. We could do that because I know that you were a big fan and that it has managed to stay with you into adulthood, and I'm very impressed by that.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
In the half shell. And they're green.
Make some noise now.
I like how they say stuff. Like we can't control these teenagers, these teenage turtles that just shout random things during the song. Come on, who do you think you are, Alvin? Get it together, guys.
Yes, chaos.
This is a theme song here.
But I mean, if you look at, we all have favorite shows that are just completely nonsensical. But we're looking at things. There's turtles, there's rats, there's radioactive slime, and there's powers, and then there's these weird quasi-love relationships between, turtles and people, and
Yes, there
everything.
were some frogs.
She almost said
There were some
amphibians.
No, I fixed that. Yes, go ahead. So, go on. So your love, when did you first go? You know what? This is my jam. Teenage Mutant.
Yeah, well, I was probably like 4.
Right.
I was 4. They fought robots. What was there not to like?
Did you have all the gear? Did you have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle gear?
No, I had toys. I had toys and the VHS tapes of episodes and stuff and T-shirts. Almost all the merchandise.
So were you a turtle for Halloween?
1 year I was, yeah. I looked like a homeless turtle. It wasn't like the shell didn't fit and the mask wouldn't stay on, and it wasn't good. I looked like what the Shredder had wanted to do to the turtles.
Oh,
since the show started. Yeah.
Super sad.
Did you have a favorite? Who was your favorite Ninja Turtle?
During the run of the cartoon, the 80s cartoon, it was Raphael because he was just kind of like a smartass. But
Yeah.
then the movies came out and he was like this big emo jock.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That's not Raphael. Why is he doing that? So then it became Donatello because then he was sort of like the smartass
smart
in the
one.
movies. Yeah.
I always liked Donatello. I was a fan of that. Because at the beginning, when I first watched it, I couldn't keep track of who was who. I would just go by color. I'm like, I would wear
Blue?
the purple one. That back then,
Blue was Leonardo, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
once I got to pick and would remember the names, and I'm like, oh, Donatello, that's the one that I like. So it's
I would have thought you would have gone by the weapon.
no. Because in my head, if you're going to watch a show and I'm just already going, whichever weapon they have, I am inherently good at. So, because they're my favorite.
But
I wasn't going
as
to
far as
practice.
recognition
And if I'm not,
goes,
I will learn the weapon because that's how I show my affection for a character.
Because back when this
That
was
is
just
quite true.
when this was just like a black and white comic book, you had to you couldn't tell by the color of their bandanas.
And I didn't pay
You
attention.
had to
I
look
didn't
at the
see it back
weapons.
then. Okay,
Yeah.
so I didn't. So I by the time I paid attention, I'm all from the television show on. I mean, from the cartoon on. So I didn't read the comics. Did you read the comics, Callahan?
I read a couple of them when I was I think probably 11 or so. Like it was hard to get indie comics back then. You'd go to the drugstore and they'd have a bunch of Marvel and DC on a rack, but like you had to go to a convention and find the table back in the corner of the merch room.
Right.
To find indie comics. So I'd read a couple, and the reason I didn't really get into them was because I couldn't tell them apart other than
gotcha.
by their weapons. And so like it didn't make sense to me. Like as far
The
as
turtle with the side.
As
the
all
one with
turtles look
stick.
the same to Rob. All turtles look the same.
from what I could
Turtle
tell, there
lives
were
matter,
there were
Callahan.
like 2 or 3 turtles, and they were just swapping personalities. That was so
That makes sense. Because there are no other distinguishing factors. It's not like one was like, this is the short turtle, and this
there
was
was
the
one
slightly
that was
fat
like
turtle.
a little bit
Yeah.
taller, but that
Okay.
was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you couldn't, frame to frame in a comic book, you can't tell that.
No.
So yeah, like to this day, I can't tell them apart. I don't know which ones
And
are
I
which.
think they kind of did that with the movies too, where like Raphael got like bulkier, and for some reason he just became like I was saying, like that big emo jock, and then Michelangelo became like the shortest one for some reason, and I think Donatello's like a little bit thinner than the rest of them. So like there's very tiny distinguishing physical characteristics.
And as
but
far
not,
as
not much.
reboots, because we always are complaining
man.
about reboots. We just complain
Yep.
about, I stop rebooting things that I love. at least the consistency of all these has been consistently awful. Kind of like, it's like charmingly awful, I think, in every...
Yeah, like
the
consistently,
cartoon-
like, this isn't going to be good.
Right.
No, that wasn't good.
Exactly. You were never, like, disappointed. And like, if you went into it with a reasonably low expectation, you'd be like, all right, you didn't make it any worse, for me when I was watching it. You didn't watch. It wasn't like this Fantastic Four situation where we're going right now. It's like you made me hate characters I loved,
Or
or
Gem.
Gem, where you're like so disappointed, or even we were talking about Teen Wolf off air. We're like the new show has nothing to do with it.
They're
why call it
hot.
that? So nobody cares that they're hot.
It's
Except
not
for
a
you.
reason to watch a show.
It's good writing though
For
too.
me.
The show has good writing though too.
Jaden had to add in for me because Nikahotep was about to
Just jump
argue
across the
with you.
table.
But I mean, I do think that when you went from, they maintained, if you go the cheese level of the cartoon,
Yeah.
they maintained a quality cheese level where it's like, okay, all right, they didn't.
Well, but
even
that's
with
the
the
thing,
newest
you have
one, they
to
didn't
go-
take themselves.
You have to
too
go one way or
seriously.
the other.
Yeah.
You either go like that cheesy camp from the cartoon that I
Right.
think most people appreciate, or you go like this darker route. But like you can't put them together because
Yeah.
then it's just terrible.
Right.
Then it's what?
Yeah.
Like that's like if you took like The Dark Knight Rises, but then like throw in a bunch of silly puns and like, oh, Batman loves pizza. This is stupid.
Or a Golden Girls reboot.
Yeah.
Here's your
like,
cheesecake.
Just terrible. Just terrible. Like I wouldn't mind like a Dark Ninja Turtles reboot, but then you just can't have the camp stuff.
Yeah,
like
it'd be hard though, because look, even if we go back to the music, okay, so we went to the we'll play a little piece of this. So we're going to hear. So it's fun, whimsical. We'll go to
Yeah.
that, and then remember
they don't cut him any slack.
No. As you mentioned, there's like all these little asides being made by the characters, and
Yeah.
then remember the big thing from the first set of movies. We had our Vanilla Ice cameos in there. Vanilla Ice came in, and that was a song that I think that we all enjoyed to sing along.
They
with,
fought dance.
Go ninja, go ninja.
They fought dance Razor and Toka.
Right.
Go
Yep.
ninja, go ninja, go, 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 go.
Thank
go.
you, Vanilla. Callahan, can you get us a whistle? Can you get us one of those, please?
I don't know how to get a whistle.
Darn.
I'm sorry.
I can get one.
All right, get us a whistle.
I remember as a kid, like how old was I when the second movie came out? That whole dance fight
93?
scene.
The
Oh
dance
man,
fight.
91,
Yeah.
91.
yeah,
Okay,
that was. I think one of them did like a reverse handstand and then kicked him in the face a few times, and that just blew me away. I was like, "What? This is amazing."
I remember the video and going, why is it was a lot of pelvic thrust for a video, I thought. It was like, because that was Vanilla Ice's move. It was a lot of that double pump pelvic thrust
Yep.
thing that he would do with everyone. But the symmetry of the outfits where they had the shoulder pads were still in it. I was like, all right, because I had seen, before this came out, I went to a Vanilla Ice concert because the boy I was dating at the time really liked Vanilla Ice. So I was like, okay, so we went
And
to
that
the perform-
relationship didn't
No, it didn't last. So-
pan out. The guy that loved Vanilla Ice didn't stay with him.
But she kept the shoulder pads.
Yeah, for a while, because that was all right. Because I'm like, all right, we'll see how I can do. I want to look like I'm good, well padded at all times. So we went and saw that. And then if you update to the newest one, we'll call it the Emo Turtles, or
Go
Emo
Ninja.
Turtles that we have, the most recent one. But the music quality actually improved, kind of thing. Like, this is kind of a dope track. I'm all right with it.
This is your
Aren't you
workout
ready?
track
Like,
right here.
Exactly.
This is your running track.
Yeah.
Getting it.
In my kickboxing class.
Yeah.
Come on, ladies, put
That's
your
not
guards up.
that's not kickboxing.
You can put up 1 a.m. right in this one.
Who's singing
And then
this?
here it drops. Here we go. Oh! See? What?
This
Callahan is
you would
jamming.
expect to go to a beat battle and see this win the entire night,
And then they could still do the same dance move. Somebody could do a kickstand and just knock somebody in the face. You go, throw down, Donatello.
This is the middle
Work,
of this is the
son.
middle of a club right here.
Right.
It's a fight in the middle of a club
Well,
right
and
here.
that's
This
part
is
of the
soundtrack.
problem too. Is like it just seems like there's no creativity with the plots to any of the movies whatsoever. It's just some variation of the Shredder has a thing he's after,
Right.
and then like one of the turtles gets beat up a little bit more than the other turtles get beat up.
Maybe
but then
there's
by
a
the
rhino
end,
that comes in. That's a problem, too.
That's going to be in the next one.
Yeah,
I already
mhm.
saw I don't know if you took a gander at the Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes. Look at him shaking his head in dismay. Like,
I don't want it to be Michael Bay. I just don't want it to be Michael Bay. Is that
Like
too
the
much
most
to ask?
aggressive rhino, and then just explosions. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, rhinos are almost extinct, and so he could be very, very upset.
If he's raising rhino awareness, which seems like an odd cause, but I mean, I
But if
support
you're
that.
gonna
I
do
guess.
something, just stick
Yeah.
with it. That's fine.
Donald Trump's going to make a cameo.
It was really
Shredder's going
funny.
to take his mask off, and it'll be Donald Trump.
It was really funny just watching like the old cartoons because like Bebop and Rocksteady had guns.
Yeah.
Like those were their weapons.
Right.
Were like machine guns. And then they never shot the turtles.
No.
Like Raph would throw his sai, it would
And
get
then
stuck in the machine gun. And they're like, oh boy.
I kept waiting for them to like shoot at them, and then they would turn around and it would deflect off of the shell. I
That's
don't know
what the
why I
shell's
thought that
for,
was
right?
going to happen, but you didn't have to do that.
There's
very often.
actually a really funny college humor cartoon about like what would happen if the Ninja Turtles actually used their weapons.
Oh yeah, I
And they
remember
just
that.
like slaughter everybody. And then they like become villains. They're like, no one could stop us. Like in the first scene, they just like stab Shredder right away. Like, oh well, that was simple. We just had to stab him. Why didn't I stab him before?
So all right, so you're
That and like,
cautiously optimistic
I
about
love.
new
Sorry,
properties.
sorry.
Right.
One more of my favorite things
Yeah.
too is like how whenever they wanted to like go into like society, they would just put on a trench coat and a hat, and then like that was enough.
Exactly.
Like, oh, look at these punks with
Uh,
their green skin and like,
And their
ah.
masks. The masks
yeah.
were still there. That was fine. You got to take.
Well,
your
they had to
mask.
tell each other apart.
Yeah.
What about so April? I went back and forth about whether she was sometimes just so ridiculous, and sometimes you're like, all right, that kind of makes sense, I guess, because you need to have a female character. Yeah,
Yeah.
there has to be one. So, she's not somebody that I was like, oh, I want to go out and get the toy, or I'm glad that they had a girl in this one. And
Yeah,
I'm
she had
looking at
like
her.
no personality in the
Right.
cartoon whatsoever. It was just like an excuse. Like she would just get kidnapped. Like that was her job. Like she wouldn't report anything. She would get kidnapped.
She was like a 60s Doctor Who companion.
Yeah, exactly. Then they would like rescue her. Like, okay, be safe, April.
Thanks
All
a lot,
right.
everyone. Have some pizza.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And then like that awkward like sexual tension that she would have with whatever turtle was.
Or whatever
I think in the
random
first
new
movie it was
hero they had.
Raphael and-
Who was the new hero?
Oh,
The
Casey
dude-
Jones,
There we go.
the guy
Casey
that
Jones.
like
The
has
hockey
the
puck
hockey
guy?
sticks
Yes.
and yeah.
That
Vigilante.
He just had like a bag of like sporting equipment stuff.
Yeah.
that worked. And
Did
a
you ever
mask.
see the third Ninja Turtles movie where they go back in time?
No.
No.
What?
There's the okay.
Look
Was
at
this
that.
direct
So
to VCR?
this was after. Okay, so you had the first movie, the
Yeah.
classic. Then you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret
Right.
of the Ooze with Razor and
I
Tokka.
saw that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, and Shredder becomes Super Shredder. And then the third movie, the Ninja Turtles go back in time
I
to
don't
like
even.
ancient Japan.
I need to Google
And
that. I really
Raphael
don't know.
befriends this little Asian boy. Yeah. Truth. Yeah. And then what happens is
I
like
vaguely remember
like
something
four
like this.
samurai warriors from Japan are transported to like present day Manhattan where the Ninja Turtles live. And so like Casey Jones introduces them to like pizza and video games and stuff.
Because
And
that's
then,
what you do when someone visits your
Yeah,
time.
exactly. And then the Ninja Turtles are in like this village in Japan somewhere, and of course there's like some sort of battle going on with like a neighboring village or something, and so like the turtles befriend the community, and then end up having to like to like fight to like save the village and stuff.
So
And
where's
it's-
It's like a
Shredder in
Ninja
this?
Turtles, Bill and Ted's mashup. Is what we got.
yeah,
Don't they
yeah.
understand time travel paradoxes?
No,
I-
it's
no,
they're
that's
turtles.
not-
They're
it-
mutant
yeah.
turtles.
Sounds like Dances with Wolves, but with 4 turtles instead of Kevin Costner.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And then I think Michelangelo has a thing with
Some geisha?
Some
Or
geisha. Yeah. Because I remember because like Raphael's with like this little boy, and Michelangelo's with this girl, and I think Donatello just kind of bonds with like the whatever mechanic they have there.
And
about
then there's
just,
somebody
like,
that hangs out with the sensei. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then they end up having to. Oh, and then I remember there's like this really stupid part where like they find this scroll, and it's like it was preordained that like these 4 mutant turtles would show up to like help. Is that us? No, other mutant ninja turtles. Are you shitting me right now? You think that's us? Yes, I think it's us.
We all know what we'll be adding to our Netflix list for the rest of this week.
I don't even know if it's on Netflix. They brought back, I think it's the April from the second movie, because the
Okay.
first movie, it's a different April. second movie, and I think it's the same April.
Was
the
that the
third
same
one,
Casey
but-
Jones?
Yeah, is it Elias
Doesn't matter.
Proteus, whatever his
Doesn't
name
matter
is? But
which
yeah.
Casey Jones it was.
Yeah, all Casey Joneses are equally awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out for the sheer stupidity of the movie.
Paradoxes are bad.
Oh, I'm fine.
But I
with
love
it.
I would that just making me think that was like, well, actually they did kind of go the complete 180 on the whole plot thing with this one. Like, how about they go back to ancient Japan? Like,
Sure.
all right, why
Okay.
not?
Was Shredder in the third one at all, or no?
No Shredder in that one. It was like some evil Japanese.
Well, that's
warlord
kind of good though.
or
The fact that
something.
they didn't use Shredder as the main.
I bet if you pay
Yeah.
close attention, there's probably a subplot where they set up Shredder to be born later on in present day.
I don't think this movie has that kind of depth. The subplot is Michelangelo getting to first base with an 18-year-old Asian girl. That's the subplot to this thing.
So this is not Back to the Future 2.
No, it's not. And then, let's see. There was an animated Ninja Turtle movie that came out a few years ago. And that one was, again, just an unnecessary reboot that was kind of stupid. And then there's the Michael Bay ones that are happening now. Oh, and then there was a live-action television show version where they had a girl turtle.
Like a Power Rangers type?
It was like a Fox Morning thing. Yeah, like a Power Rangers thing. It was like, well, let's just do Ninja Turtles, but like Power Rangers. So yeah, so there was like this girl turtle that they just forgot about. It was like, hey, I was just always over there. You guys never included
Just hanging
me.
in the corner.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
was some leftover ooze, and it,
Yep.
she had a pink mask. I
I've been
take it.
learning
She had a
from you
pink
guys.
I think
mask.
it was like a light blue mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, powder blue. She had a powder blue mask.
There's been so many
Pink.
goddamn reboots of this thing.
Was she supposed to be a sister to the turtles, or more like a random extra turtle, like love interest turtle for whatever?
I think they kind of kept it ambiguous so they could explore that.
Yeah. So if they needed a
But
turtle
they didn't because it was
girlfriend,
like a Saturday morning kids show.
What
It was
her, what
weird.
her
It was-
weapon?
if they
I don't
needed
even.
more turtles, then they could go. Now
guilt.
we can.
I think
breed
guilt
turtles.
was her weapon. Oh, you guys are getting in the van. Is there a fight that's going on that you didn't tell me about? Was that what was going on? Just curious, because I'm.
Why would you
also
go
a
without
ninja
me?
over
Why would you
here.
know without
But no,
me?
that's fine. No, go ahead. Hope you win. I hope you kick all their asses. I'll stay in the kitchen, right? Because that's where I belong. The kitchen.
She
I'll
was
make some
probably
pizza.
a
I'll
very
make some pizza
empowered
so you can-
turtle.
She's got
and they just
spatulas
didn't
as
give her
a
a
weapon?
chance.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. With the stereotyping of the female characters.
Yeah,
Look
rolling
at that.
pin, rolling pin.
No, or she's texting him all the time.
Oh, so
Where are you
now-
guys?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
You left for that battle an hour ago. How long does it take you to beat those dumb robots? Huh? You losing it? You getting fat? Maybe you should work out some more.
I'm sure they were just encouraging to have a female character. She could start her own spin-off because she didn't need all those boy turtles anyway because they were all dumb. That's fine.
I don't know if a girl turtle reboot would be any. Probably get that
It'd be
same
just
kind of
like
backlash. I was gonna
Ghostbusters.
say,
That's
yeah.
fine.
Probably get that
Reboot
same
it.
Ghostbusters backlash.
Wasn't there one? Which was the one where they were like fighting aliens? Do I have that
I
mixed
think
up
that
with
was
another one?
the. I think that was the animated one.
Okay.
Where they fought aliens. That
So
was
I was like aliens. That was when
2000,
they were aliens.
7.
Okay.
2008 maybe.
Because I remember popping in and out of the series and going,
Oh no, wait.
aliens?
It'll be after
Wait.
that. It'll be after that.
Like the
2000
Brood Queen?
2011 maybe.
You act like I remember what they were called.
Brood, that's from Marvel. That's
No, I'm thinking like Ripley and like like
No. It was more like they were gelatinously looking, and then there was a reason, and there was a planet that had lots
Oh
of
yeah,
turtles
that
and
was in the
stuff on
cartoon.
it. Yeah,
like
okay.
Dimension X.
Yes,
they
there we
went
go.
to
That
Dimension
sounds
X.
right.
Yeah, because I think that's where Krang came from. That brain
Yes,
that's in that
the
robot
brain.
that
That's
looks
what I was
like
like.
Dick
It was
Cheney.
a little. Because I'm like, I remember seeing a little like.
Yeah. Oh, I love Krang.
Uzi thing.
Because he
Okay.
would mess with Shredder. Like I went back and just watched some of the cartoons for the sake of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And there's one episode where, like, at the start of it, Shredder's like, "Okay, I finally built this ray that'll kill the turtles," and then Krang's like, "You're missing a part." And Shredder's like, "What? What do you mean I'm missing a part?" And he's like, "I forgot." You know what he says? He's like, "I didn't tell you needed it." He's like, "Krang, what is the matter with you? I've been trying to kill these turtles for like 10 years. You're messing with me. Like, what am I supposed to do?" Like, "I'll tell you where it is now." And then, like, the turtles are, like, tipped off, so then they fight, and Shredder loses again. But, like, I love at the start, he thinks he's won. And then Krang's like, "No." It was so funny.
Yeah, I'm very excited to go and find all these now and go, these are fantastically horrible.
You ever play the old NES video game? The,
Yes.
with the electric
the
seaweed?
video
Yes.
games.
Anyone here ever get past the electric seaweed?
No.
I didn't.
No. Everybody's just like, no.
I stayed up drinking Mountain Dew all night.
And those were some of the most fun video games too. The Ninja Turtle ones, playing as the turtles, and especially if you had a friend, so you could be two turtles at once.
Yeah,
on the
it was
screen,
cool.
then you could like fight shell to shell,
Yeah.
like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing, where you stand there, you take all the Foot Clan that comes that way. I got the Foot Clan over here.
See, okay, so there are some things that we can at least admit that they haven't completely ruined from our childhood. So it's like, it's still not great, but it's not any worse. You're not sitting there going, okay, stay away from stuff.
And even like watching the old cartoons, like they're stupid.
Right.
They're not like, there was one episode I watched where it was the RoboCop one where there's like a good robot cop, and then the Shredder finds out and like creates just 1,000 bad robot cops, and they're on this bridge and the turtles are in a van. And so in order to escape, Leonardo like shoots a hole in the bridge and then just drives the van right into the river, which whatever. And then like while they're just like bobbing, and then like Donatello takes out his cell phone that they have that he created, and is like, oh, I'll call Splinter. And then what does Splinter pick them up in? The van they just crashed into the river. Like there's no continuity. Like what? I remember watching it like how? No, but they were just in that. No, he can't pick
He had
them
a
up
spare
in that.
van. He
I was
had a
gonna say,
van.
They could be a 2-car family.
The garage is like Olive Oil's closet. It's just the same.
Exactly.
clothes.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so many. Yeah.
So we will have to get a review when all the new properties come out. Like every time a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle property comes, like, Burrell, come in and tell us what you think of this thing.
Man. This
Like,
next
are you
movie.
crying yet? Are you sad
Yeah.
yet? Did it bring a tear to your eye?
I loved. There was another cartoon where the plot was that like the city of New York had created this anti-turtle task force, and so
Of
like I'm
course,
watching it now, and
as
I'm
they
like,
should
it
have done.
had to have. This must be a Republican administration, because like Democrats would spend money, but not specifically on an anti-turtle task force.
Right.
Like that seems like a very militaristic Republican. Will spend money on this.
Spider-Man also got his stuff taken away too. I mean, they didn't like Spider-Man.
They're like an anti-Spider-Man.
Yeah, no one likes Spider.
Task
They
force.
shoot at Spider-Man.
Yeah,
all
it
the
was
time.
called J. Jonah Jameson.
Well, we have to start wrapping up. So I'm so sorry because I could talk about Ninja Turtles for a while longer. But we have to start wrapping up. There's a couple
And
things we
Donald
have to cover.
Trump.
And Donald Trump. And I hope that he gets out of the news and we don't have to have another update on
That's
him.
not
But I
gonna
don't
happen.
think. No, okay.
They got to sell newspapers. They got to get people to watch cable television. Donald
Well,
Trump
Fox
is
got the
awesome.
best ratings in a while.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the best.
yeah.
That was the highest rated cable television program in a lot. That was like
Right.
24 million people tuned in to see that.
Well, real quick, we'll bring this up. We have to do it. We have continued our fantasy football challenge.
Wait, you guys have a fantasy football
Yeah.
challenge?
Yes,
That's
okay,
got to
I
be
thought
you.
so. Okay.
That's got to be.
So,
Oh, yeah.
all right, Baril, here's how it works. So we have a fantasy football challenge against
Another
a
geek show?
rival podcast, the Three Guys Talking podcast. So we threw down the gauntlet last week, and then I went on their show on Thursday, and we worked out some of the details. So here's how it's going to work. So there's 4 members of each show. Each show will then solicit 2 additional fan players.
Okay.
And we then have a commissioner who is a neutral party. Our friend Jody Moose Rylander from the Minnesota Vixen is going to be our commissioner of the league. The draft is Monday, the 25th. We're all going to sign on and get it. 24th, sorry.
Yep.
We're all going to sign on and get our teams in our fantasy football league. And we are competing for not only bragging rights, the losing show will perform the theme song for the winning show on both the winning show and at a live appearance is what we decided that we're going to do. And so we are going to be competing week to week in our fantasy football league.
Wait, so you
So
just
we're
have
going
one
on all
team?
points. No, we each have our own team, and we're just going to
It's
go by
a
total
cumulative
points.
point thing.
Yes,
Is there
at the end of the
anything going
competition.
within your own league that
We're
the
all
winner-
in the same league, and then what we'll do is that we're going to tally up all the points from
There's
all
like
of
the
the people.
friendly
I
competition
see.
between like who's getting more point here,
Exactly.
Okay.
but the
But
collective.
at the end of the season, we're going to tally up all of our points from the Your Geek Show side of things, and then all the points from the Three Guys Talking side of things, and whichever team within that, whichever show within that league has the most points is victorious.
Well, good luck. Good luck with that.
You seem like
That's-
you're voting no confidence.
I wish you the best
Do
of luck.
fantasy football?
Do I? No. I'll watch games, but I don't. That's just a
Is there
whole
fantasy
other level
politics
of interest.
anywhere?
Yeah, I actually. This is unbelievable. When I was in college, I was in a poli-sci class, and there was a teacher that tried to get us interested. So it was like fantasy legislature. So you would get points if your Congress people brought up legislation, and then if it got passed, you would get points. Or it was a really weird, convoluted rating system. And the first week we're yeah, and then the second this is what? If you filibuster, now do I get to take points away from you? Do I get my own points? What if there is no weapons of mass destruction? Then how does that work? Do I lose?
Well, what helps is that we're using Yahoo, so we can actually have somebody. There's technology to help us keep track of all of the points. So,
how much studying are you putting in on this, Callahan, or are you just letting that robot use the algorithm to get the?
Are you
best
auto drafting?
players
Is what
for
you're
you?
saying?
Why do you look over at me as if I don't know football?
Do you know football?
No.
Yeah.
But I've got friends who have the stats of every player throughout history memorized because they always play those Madden games.
Oh,
so I'm going to be
yeah.
consulting them.
There you go. Yeah, you have your own little brain trust for that.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
makes
honestly,
sense.
this is what I think it'll happen. There'll be the shows I'll have to send you the information on the Three Guys Talking podcast because they're very nice guys,
okay.
but they're not any better at this than we are. And so there's a person.
Who's the fourth person? Isn't there 4 people on each?
There's 4 in each show, so they are very
So
similar
it's a
makeup to
misnomer.
us.
The show is there's
right.
actually
They have a
girl that they don't count as a person.
They have a
They have a
Nicahotep.
Nicahotep.
Oh, I see.
why don't I count as a person?
Because you're not a person.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so you're a demon.
Yeah, I know.
And so they have a demon. They have their version of a demon. This dude named Andy, who basically used to be on. He would be on the 4th mic, but he got too drunk one show, and so they don't turn his mic on. He just hangs out, and then has to kind of lean in.
Does he just still talk into the mic though,
Yeah,
and they
he
just don't turn it on?
He makes asides basically, but he is
I see.
actually the one that does a lot of their social media as well.
The drunk?
So, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So it actually pairs up really surprisingly
All right.
well. They're like Bizarro, your geek show.
Yes.
And
Okay.
so,
But
you
I'm
know,
way better looking than he is.
Andy?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can fight with Andy about that. So I'm not in it. So you're both equally.
So what time is
handsome.
it draft? We just go anytime, log in, and draft our team? or
No,
is
we're
there a
going to start at
specific time?
7 p.m. We're going to start at 7 p.m. Central is what we're doing with
You
our.
getting
Getting
together for this?
Yeah,
or
I was going
you-
to say, are we getting together for this?
We
or
can
is
get
this-
together where everybody can log in separately. So I try to make it easy on everybody.
I have my team name picked.
Oh, that's right, because we have to select.
Yeah,
our
so
own team
you will be
names,
getting
too.
all of this information later today, and then we'll actively solicit people
What's
on
your
your
team
geek
name?
show.
Clothic optional.
From what city?
I don't have a.
You don't get to pick a city. It doesn't work that way. You
The
just pick a
Minneapolis
team. We're all in
Clonic
the league.
optionals.
No, not clonic. Clothnick.
Clothnick option. Ay, ay, ay.
The league itself, though, if you do see us out there, if we do well enough that we chart anywhere on Yahoo, it's
We will.
the
Oh,
league,
yeah.
The league is called the League of Extraordinary Geeks, is what I said it up.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
the
That's
League
a
of
good
You
league.
should get
Extraordinary
a.
Geeks.
You should get a.
That's a good league.
Team together.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but I definitely support you guys.
Thank you. So
in,
you can cheer us
in
on.
That. Absolutely.
We
I
can use
will
a
do that.
cheerleading squad. That'll
I
work.
will be your cheerleader.
Okay, I am excited.
Who's
about
your
that.
first round pick?
I'm
who
picturing
are
you
you
in a
gunning
bathtub
for?
full of rose petals right now.
That is how I cheer. That is how
You
I
can be
cheer.
our Olivia Munn.
It'll be like a Skype kind of thing. Like I won't actually be there. I'll just be in a bathtub filled with rose petals
Going, good job, guys. Do it again.
and a PBR. Just sitting there like, go get them. You show those 3 guys in that drunk. I hope your team scores the most points.
Slurp.
Yeah.
So we're doing our
I
draft.
want Eric
so
Decker.
Oh, is this even related to the draft, or is that
No.
a
Just look at his
Okay.
face.
He plays football play. He does football play.
you see,
Football
He
play.
plays football play.
he picked because this is how he's trying to prepare it. He doesn't know it doesn't work this way. He's trying to pick them based upon where he thinks they're hot or not, and he's just going to pick there. So they don't care about their ability scores. They might
Eric
not be the
Decker's a
injured reserve.
good
Yeah.
receiver, though.
He's using Tinder. That's how he's saying this. That's how you pick your players, right? You swipe right. Then they're on your team.
So we'll see what happens on Monday. I'm very curious because it's probably going to turn out 2.5 people super care, and then everybody, the player.
Because you have to do that the whole season.
Yes.
The whole 17.
And you have to
How
pay
long
attention
does
to your
it
team.
last?
17. Then you have playoffs,
Goes until
right?
Yes.
like
That's-
March, April.
Yeah.
That's over 4
At least
months.
February.
February, yeah.
February.
Yeah.
Super Bowl
Bowl.
game
That's the
February.
commitment that you've
So
signed
we're
up
gonna
for,
do this
Rob.
until February.
I didn't sign up for anything. This happened when I was absent. I was
Oh,
at a
that's what, you
con.
get. That's what you get for leaving. That's what you get for leaving.
The 1 week I had to take off to go to a con, they started this thing.
Yeah, so we're going to have a fantasy football league, and we're going to compete, and it'll all be fine. But they have a player over there that's going to be all whack, too. So Jason Douglas, there, Rob Callahan, he's going to check out real soon, too. So I'm like, we'll see. So it'll still
I'm
be
also
fair.
better looking than him.
You are. I saw pictures.
You guys are both equally handsome. I'm not getting in this fight about looks, about people on the show.
All right,
I'm
trash
not
talking already begins.
Yeah,
Right.
so I already
I
did
think, I think our whole entire podcast is actually probably a 9, and they're probably more of a 6.
Well, if you collectively put all of us together and decide whether we are better looking than the Three Guys
We should
Talking
ask Rob
podcast,
that.
can you do that? So if we do a hot or not between our podcast and their podcast, will you tell us which one you think is hotter?
Yeah, I don't know what any of those
No,
guys
we'll send
look
you
like.
back. No,
but
we'll
that's-
give you.
Pictures,
We'll
just
pull
based
up the
on pictures.
pictures.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
We'll pull
fine.
up all our
Sure,
pictures.
send me the
Okay.
pictures when I'm in the bathtub.
I'll kill your family.
And you don't even need to do that, man. That's just, you're going to win. You're going to win.
You don't have to don't pre-threaten people.
Why not? That's how I roll.
Right,
All right.
for killing people.
So,
that's your go-to.
anyone
Who's your
who's out
first round
there-
pick? Who's your first round pick if you get first round pick?
I'd go
or
with
do you
a
not want to
quarterback
talk
first.
strategy right now?
You know,
because
you always
because
because the way I would do is I always go with, you try and get your quarterback, you get the best quarterback you can get, and then I would go. My second round is always I get the best defense I can, and then I fill in the rest of them.
Okay.
Because it's so hard when you have we have just enough teams that you should get a couple of people that you want, but then the rest of it is really
Well, yeah, because it's just
four.
four. So there's just 8 teams, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
there'll be So but we have the extra ones because it would just be 8, but now we're going to let 2 fans of each show play. So that's what makes it more complicated. Otherwise, we would get to do it. But we want to make sure. The reason
You
that
should
we
get
decided
Tim
that
Harmston.
Oh, he would be really
Tim
good.
Harmston.
We should get
And,
someone who can write music in case in the unlikely
Lose.
event we lose.
Well, I thought we were going to work on that anyway because that was what it is that they're Jason Douglas is in a band. So if we win, which I'm pretty sure we're going to win, then our show their band gets to has to perform our theme song. So we need to come up with a good theme song so that Jason Douglas's band can do it.
Barbershop. There are 4 of us.
Well, I'm fine with that, but we're not going to lose. We're good. They don't know what they're. It's really just
I'm
the only
picking my
person
team
over there
based
paying
on
attention.
looks.
But the only person over there that's going to pay attention is Stubby J. He's the only one. The rest of them, they'll check out. They'll be fine. I got him.
So
I
we
got
need
him.
to
Don't
kneecap
worry.
that
What
guy.
did they talk
got
about?
him.
What did they talk? What is this
the
other?
three guys
The
talk
3
about?
guys and the alcoholic. What did they talk about?
It's pretty much our show, but in the evening with booze, right?
Right, it kind of is.
all right.
Like this week, what they did is they talked about their top 3 movie insults, and everybody picked 3 top movie insults, and they went over that. So, and then when I was on their show before, we talked about what 3 superpowers. They have a top 3 things, so we talked about what 3 superpowers we would pick. So they're very similar to what we do, and so yeah, Stubby J is the only one we have to take care of over there. He's got a date tomorrow, so he'll be really distracted. So if the date goes well tomorrow, he won't care because she might go, "I don't like football." He'll be like, "You don't like football," so it'll be fine. So
You can easily destroy that team.
yeah, so I'm not really
Get some-
worried
get some-
about it.
Yeah, some babes in there.
Yeah,
to-
so I'm like, go
yeah.
get it. And they drink themselves obliterated sometimes. They have a not only do they podcast, they have a trivia at the TGI Fridays in Coon Rapids. They're easily distracted. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
Well, good luck. Good
Thank
luck,
you.
guys.
So-
Good luck, team.
All right.
you.
So anybody who is interested in joining the League of Extraordinary Geeks, I will post all the information to our Facebook fan page. It'll be on Twitter, and you can find it on our website. We need 2 extra players, which is also, I think, what'll help us make sure that we win, because I'm sure that our listeners are much smarter than the 3
Sports
guys
geeks.
talking. Yeah. We know we have some sports geeks, so it'll be fantastic. So you can find all that. You can always find us at Facebook at facebook.com/YourGeekShowMN. You can find us on the web at YourGeekShow.com. You can find Robert Burrell at Robert Burrell, BARIL1, the number 1. Do you have a website?
BurrellComedy.com.
There we go. And do you have any shows coming up? Do we get to see any?
I am at Acme Comedy Company September 15th through the 19th with Brian Miller and Tim
Nice.
Slagle.
Very nice.
What will we talk about?
That will be a very political show for anybody
Yeah.
out there. Our political geeks listening, this is the show for you to go to.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I'm at House of Comedy next month too sometime also.
Nice.
But it's the dates are on BurrellComedy.com, and then on Facebook, Robert Burrell. I always post stuff for shows and Donald Trump jokes and stuff on there.
Nice. So I hope it maintains a joke, and I don't eventually have to just slap my head in disbelief that he actually is our president. So we will continue to watch that. And next time, like you said, we'll escalate. I'll bring additional booze and food, maybe a whole, craft
When did you guys
services
get
platter.
the hot tub?
So thank you for joining us. And so
Thanks for having me again.
everyone else out
Anytime.
there.
Turtle power.
Anytime. Turtle
Turtle
power.
power.
Cowabunga. Cowabunga, mofos.